npr.org. And to see hundreds more TED Talks, check out TED.com or the TED app. Our TED Radio production staff at NPR includes Jeff Rogers, Sanaz Meshkinpour, Rachel Faulkner, Diba Mohtasham, James Della.
So that was TED Talks on public radio, and I was listening to it, and they were talking about norms, right? Norms, corporate norms, right? And this one lady who is the granddaughter of the Disneys, and basically she has a card that she goes through it, and she gives it to the guy at the ticket place instead of costing $200. She gets her tickets, and she gets to walk in for free. So she's the Disney family, and she's on the board, and she's a big stockholder. But she has other things in her life. She's not really works for Disney or really involved. She just gets money. So she got her little visa to go into the happiest place in the world, and there was a little note in there. It said, this person realized this was the Disney granddaughter, and basically said, please help us. And what had happened was, when Disney started out, the people who worked there were had a contract, right? And they weren't hourly wage earners. They were getting a salary, right? And they had health care, and they had sick days, and they had vacation days, and they could retire. And all the way to the lowliest guy sweeping the floor, he could take home a paycheck that could, buy food, pay the rent, the electric bill. Today, that's not true. Today, only 6%. In 1970, right? 1970, almost 80% of the workers in America were union. Today, it's 6%. And virtually everyone is an hourly worker, meaning they get paid by the hour. They have no healthcare. They have no retirement. They have no nothing. And now I'm experiencing that because I was a consultant. I did my own thing for my whole life, right? I got paid really good. And I lived really well all the way up till when I was about 66, and then I died. And then I had to eke my way back. And luckily, I had investments and things, and I could cash those chips in to get me to where I am now. And I have nothing now, but that's okay, because I had a bridge to get from one place to the other. And now I'm in a safe place. I'm out in the deep green. And yes, people will look at it and go, oh my God, he's a homeless guy, But no, I live in heaven. There are a lot of people. I mean, all of you, I'm a boomer, right? Born in 50. And then the Xers and the Jenners and all of those people, they have nothing. And it's costing them a fortune just to exist. And they can't even afford to have a family. And that is, I was having another, YouTube for you guys. And I basically was starting to talk about things. I was playing dark journalism with Catherine Austin Fitts. You should go check out her Solaris report. And go look at, dark journalism. That's an excellent channel. And there are a lot of great things on YouTube, And YouTube is quite an amazing thing. But how long is it going to last? I don't think very much longer. And we watch the internet designed to live through a nuclear war. Well, that's true. But your little access points, all those phones, they're not. Right? And I am sure dollars to donuts, when you don't pay your bill to your provider, bingo, your phone goes off. And that is, in China, they have this thing. We have a credit rating. They have a social rating. When that goes down, no matter how much money you're making, if your social rating goes down, you can't leave the country. B, you can't fly an airplane. Then you have to take a train. Can't take the train. Got to take a bus. Can't take a bus. So you got to take the local bus that everyone's on it with chickens, right? And what China's trying to do is what the rest of the neocon world is trying to do, and that is to break all norms of human existence, where the state is God. And I mean, this has already played out before. This is what Alexander the Great did. I mean, this is, where God turned everyone into a pillar of sand. That's what they were doing. And if you go to my xratted.blogspot.com, which is under the auspices of Griot Publishing, that's my publishing company, Griot Publishing, and that's my site there on xratted.blogspot.com. And that is there, it's not X-rated, it's X-ratted. And it's got all kinds of stories about what's going on, all kinds of short stories, novels, and essays, right? So go take a look. I'd love to hear, and give me some more thumbs up, gang, and go to if you want to talk to me, go to the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, and that's my Gmail account. And there's a PayPal there. And that's really the only thing I'm living on, other than my meager little Social Securities. And they're cutting, they just cut my food stamps, not just mine, but everyone's, by 0.75%. Now I can get by, just eat less, not a big deal. Just use that to buy healthy food like vegetables and things like that, not processed crap. And I would buy too much, and then because I have no really refrigeration, so things would spoil before. So now I'll be forced to be more like I just did today, just bought the things that I'm going to eat in the next 4 days, right? That's no big deal. But families, people with kids, and all 24 million children, just 24 million children in America going hungry. That's the only meal they really got every day was the one in school. And now that everyone's not going to school. And so this whole thing, pretty much every politician and his brother would always say, don't overlook a catastrophe, take advantage of it. Obama's guy, whatever, Roy Cohen. No, what was that guy's name? The guy who became mayor of Chicago. That guy is, that was what he lived by. Look for the catastrophe. If you can't find one, make one. And that's where we are right now. And kids, 2021 is going to make 2020 look like nothing. It's going to be more because they want to break the norms, and that's what Donald Trump was set to do for 4 years. Was he broke every norm in the book, which was good because it Donald Trump, why they were like a little about Donald Trump is that his activities, his attitude, his character gave a window into, and nobody was any different. Every other corporate, Jeff Bezos, all those clowns, are just poster children of the new race that's coming, the new transhumanist race. And I had a friend of mine. I lived with these Rasta boys in St. Lucie, and they had a band called Enjoy. And I was their guy who would go get them gigs. And, I was their Grandpa Smurf. And in 2005, maybe even earlier than that, Ade was talking about, transhumanism and what's it all mean and da-da-da-da. Do you know about transhumanism? I said, yeah, I know what it is. And I said, what, he goes, well, it's, and he really, this guy could feel things. I do too. And that's why I hung with him. And I was the only white guy. They had they had 4 little houses on this block. His grandma bought them. And it had been part of the Chitlin circuit. And he was keeping it all. He's a great painter, great poet. He knew, he did all these paintings of, what's her name? She's a great painter, writer, anthropologist of Harlem. And she came from Florida. She came from Port St. Lucie. What's her name? Anyway, she was as famous as Billie Holiday was. And Billie Holiday, that song, Strange Fruit, go listen to that. And that's why, Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, blah, 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 blah. It's just that. It's just blah, 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 blah. We need to organize with ourselves, Catherine Austin Fitts says, The masks are there because they're sliding clones into the general public, and they haven't been able to get their mouths right. So by having, everyone having to wear a mask, there are certain counties in certain states where they're passing laws where you have to wear a mask in your own home, even if you're the only one living there. What? So, and clones have been amongst us for a long time. There was a great 1970s movie called Them, and then there was a TV show, where Vincent blah blah blah, the architect, was usually the guy who gets pinned for something that he didn't do. Is always aiming to be an architect because they're really smart. They're like mathematicians, but they're artists too, right? So anyway, so it's still a beautiful day, and I want to go have it. But go to TED Talks. TED Talks are really good, and go listen to the one that was just played on public radio about norms, about the economy, about the pandemic, about everything that's going on right now. And there are a lot of people. If you go to dark journalism, you go to Catherine Austin Fitz channel, Solari's. You go watch Jimmy Dore. I mean, there are a ton of people out there, going on, screaming at the watch out, gang, wake up, yo, right? So that's 11 minutes and 40 seconds. So at around 12:12, I will say au revoir. Unless somebody comes on and starts having a conversation, unless we get more than 4 people, we can get more than 4 between now and 12:12. I'll stick around because I got a good signal and there's no one seeming to bother to interfere. Because the other Wi-Fi that I was picking up, once I started talking about things, it started. Oh, you're being you're not. You have a weak signal. We can't hear you anymore. Sorry. Anyway, so anything? It's not 12. Look at that, 12:21. So no one said anything. There's still only 2 of you there. I'm going to say, I love you. I will come back sometime during the week, and I will talk stories about Christmas and about norms and and about, what's going to happen to you in 21. What's going to happen to you in 21? You better start sitting sitting and getting your act together, right? Because 2021 is going to make 2020 look like nothing. And 2022 is like, yo! Because between now and 2024, when Donnie's coming back, woo! Yippee! So it's going to be fun. It's going to be way weirder than a roller coaster ride. I'll leave you one little story. So I had a friend of mine, and she loved carnival rides. And I met her because I was a carnival guy. For one summer, I was a carnival electrician. And there was this one place where the carnival stopped in about 5 places, went from this town to that town, meaning not miles, just, there were miles, but not lots of miles. So if you wanted to keep going to the carnival, you could. And there was this one young lady who showed up in the first town we were at, and she just loved frigging rides. And she got there kind of before the place opened when I and the boys were getting all the rides. And we had this one Ferris wheel that the buckets were on a rail, right? And as it went up and it got to this plane, the bucket would do this down the rail and then lock in and then go around and get up to that point where you're like, whoa, and you would, whoa. And if you're getting into this thing, it was this cage. It was like being in a space capsule. And they like buckled, not just around your waist, but across your way, like a fighter pilot. So you really couldn't, right? And they would put a kind of, helmet on you, not the full helmet, but just a helmet around your head, kind of a little better. It's kind of it was a military helmet that now the police use. Anyway, this girl loved that. And she, I'm like putting this thing together. She said, "You work here?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, and the guy goes, "He's the boss, but he's the nice boss." And she goes, "Really?" Anyway, so we started, she watched it and she goes, "Think I could get a job here?" I said, "Well, these guys are like close to the best, but if you wanted to volunteer, I'm sure I could, I have the authority to take you on as my protege," which I did. And because she was quite an attractive 22-year-old. And I was at that point moving into my 50s. And so, plus, I was, my roommate, the lady who read palms, she had a new boyfriend. I mean, I was still her sweetie. And that's what she was saying. "You're still my sweetie. I just, this guy is a little younger than you. And he's a little more muscular than you. And he's got more, okay. You don't, but the 22-year-old kind of liked the 50-something-year-old me. And so, plus I made her my protege. And she had a really, this girl had some bucks. Both her parents died when she was 19, and she got everything. All right. She didn't have to wait or have a lawyer hold her money for her. And she was pretty smart. She was making investments and buying this and that. And she was an interesting person. And so, and she had gone to college, and as soon as she got that money, she kind of slowed down on that and took whatever she wanted, rather than, going for that degree she was going for. And so, we had a great time for those 5 cities, and which was about 2 months, right? And right at that point was when they were heading to the other side of the country. They were leaving the East Coast. And I said, I think I've taught all your guys what to do that's safe. We're going to leave a territory where I no longer have the cachet of being me, meaning whatever little town we go in, that building inspector, that electrical inspector, that safety guy, that fireman knows me, or at least knows of me. And that's one of the reasons why you, the boss, hired me, because that first day I just said, "I'll take care of it." And the guy who was the inspector gave me a hard time, said, "Okay, I'll sign off on this. If Al's going to be here, I'll sign off on this. So, but you're going to go across the Mississippi, and I will no longer have a cachet. And I got other things to do. The thing I really had to do was stick with that 22-year-old, which I did for a whole year. But she was great. And we had so much fun, and we took it day by day. Because the thing I like about you is that you're not glamming on to me. You're not saying, "Oh, let's get married, baby. You're just saying, let's have a good time." And you're smart, and you've read way more books than I have. And whenever I have a question, you have at least an opinion that is based in some kind of knowledge stream. So, what I did, and that was towards the end of the 80s. No, it was actually in the 90s. Anyway, right there between 80 and 90, somewhere in there, some summer. Anyway, anyone got anything to say? Thanks for the thumbs up. And again, I will come. So here it is, 1818. So at 1919, or maybe 2020, if I keep going on. But I love you guys, and let's say a little prayer, okay? Father, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, as was in the beginning. Bless us indeed, enlarge our territory, put your hand upon our shoulder, and keep us safe from harm and evil, so we will do no harm. Okay? So here we're coming up on 1919. See how time can slow down. There it is. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Sometime early. Tomorrow's supposed to rain and be terrible. Maybe Tuesday, maybe not. But before the weekend, okay? I love you guys. Talk to you later.